Hey, I think we're on. Let's see if you can hear me. It's been a long time.
Are you looking to
Oh, there's
establish
an
your
ad.
business using an address other than your home?
Quiet, nobody cares. It's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
It's got like a fuzz to it.
It's a little weird.
It's got like a fuzz to it.
It's a little weird. It's got like a fuzz to it. It's a little weird.
Alright,
It's got like a fuzz
shut that
to
off.
it.
But, I don't know. Maybe I'll turn it down here, see what happens. I noticed the fuzz on the thing here too, but I don't know. Didn't really tell anybody I was going to do one of these in a while too, so there wouldn't surprise me if there's not any viewers right now. I'm going to make a surprise. Surprise! My wife's in there building something, and it's going to be really loud because she decided to do it right now. So that is that'll be fun. See if I can find my after hours thing on here. So I have this really cool Ottsix Wizard 2 in front of me, and I spent a little part of the day building it. Had a day off today, and it was super cold out. Not super cold out. It actually was pretty nice. We went out and ran some errands or whatever, but we did. I did kind of want to set aside part of the day to work on this thing, and there it is in all of its glory. It's almost done. There's a couple things I don't like. I'm gonna redo the shocks. That's probably what I'm gonna do right now, and because they're like really stiff and weird. So I'm gonna work on that. And then if I feel like it, I have another project car that I got an Infraction 3S. That actually was only a 2S. It was the brushed car, and I bought. So we ran it last year during this parade, this Papillion Days parade, where we had that car going, and then we had a Creighton pulling a jump, and like guys were jumping the truck. It was really rad. It was really cool, and I hope we get to do it again this year. But when that one ran out of batteries, I grabbed this car and I started running it, and all of a sudden it started slowing down and got real smoky and everything. And I thought, oh crap, I burned up a motor. But upon further inspection, I think it actually the drive shaft, where the drive shaft meets the slipper assembly, actually got melted somehow. So I got this cool thing. This is a hot racing slipper eliminator. So it gets rid of all that stuff, and then you can use a Traxxas spur gear, 32 pitch spur gear on it. So this bolts to that, and then I got a pinion gear, and then if I get that in there just right and take it to work tomorrow, I should be able to just get a drive shaft for it. They're pretty cheap, at least right now, and hopefully get that thing running again. I'm also going to put a brushless system in it and do a lot of cool stuff. So hopefully. Hopefully we're gonna get that going. She's in there just making just crazy racket. So it's kind of annoying. But I don't know. Oh, that sounds better, doesn't it? Kind of sounds better. What's my phone doing?
I have this really cool Ottsix Wizard 2.
Oh yeah, that sounds way better.
I spent a little part of the day building it.
Okay. Still kind of fuzzy, but we haven't used that in a while, so it doesn't surprise me. So anyways, there's 2 viewers right now. How's it going? How's everybody doing? This could be a long video because I got nothing else better to do besides going to work tomorrow. And I really want to take a look at one of these shocks and see if I can get it to be not as sticky. So we'll do what we need to do. Peter Renault's on here, longtime Patreon member. And since we haven't been able to do a podcast every single week, kind of felt bad, kind of, that we're not able to do that all the time. So I've been wanting to do one of these for a while and just haven't had the opportunity. We had some weird stuff happen. I've had to work the last couple Saturdays, Mondays, and there was one Monday where it was really nice out, so I spent the day out fishing and stuff, and kind of didn't feel like working on RC stuff. So, but today was perfect. It was cold out and just not really conducive for doing much anything outside. We didn't have any real, things to do. I'm not even sure if there's oil in these, honestly. Maybe that's why it's sticky. I guess we're gonna find out. But yeah, so this thing's pretty awesome. I gotta say that this is the first time that I've pre-ordered an expensive crawler anywhere, and carbon fiber chassis, of course, and the machining was really good. Everything lined up like it was supposed to. I found the instructions online on the Ottsix website were perfect. Like, you just scroll and it takes you through bag by bag. So this was a very, very easy build. Of course, this specific crawler, you get it sort of pre-assembled. The axles are pre-assembled. The shocks are pre-assembled. The center transfer case is pre-assembled. So it does save you a little bit of time. And it didn't really take me that long. I could have done it here tonight. But I don't know. I kind of had the full day, so I just took advantage of it. And yeah, new for this year, I need readers to see when it's that close. So at the trackside race at the International Series, my eyes are killing me like every night. And I just taken a vision test, and they had said that I had whatever it's called when you can't see stuff close, like right here, like everything's blurry. And I just kind of ignored it. And I did notice it. I started noticing it this summer. That my up close vision was getting a little more difficult to see stuff, especially when I'm like at work and I'm really trying to fix somebody's stuff, and there's tiny parts here and there. And yes, 4 days just sitting in your pit at trackside, and every night my eyes would hurt, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I was just basically sitting in my pit for most of the day, staring at my car in front of me, looking for things to tweak or check. Sometimes I'm just on my phone because I got nothing else better to do. So it's very possible that not like really just straining in all the time was why at the end of the night I had like almost like a headache from just straining, and I think it did affect my driving too. I really think it did. So so when we came back, I went to Walmart and picked up some readers, nice cheap readers, and it's just like putting magnifying glasses on your face, but when I am working on small stuff, I do have these handy, and I gotta say, it actually does. It does help out a ton. So yeah, I basically shouldn't have ignored my wife for 6 months. So that's the last one of those. That's my little present to myself when so how I've never actually taken one of these apart. This is a brand new shock to me, so oh, there we go. I was wondering how in the world you can affect preload. One of my shocks, I think, was just stuck. So again, God, I can't see. So you can at least do that. So that's good. Now is that a... That's got to be a... Like a shot cap up there. So yeah, it's kind of new to me. I didn't really have any car stuff to work on. Like we raced this weekend, and my oh, there we go. And my Mugen MSB1 worked pretty good. Finished third in out of 5 in mod 2 wheel, but I feel like my times are respectable for the class I intend to run, which is 40 plus. We got our butt whooped by Caden Berding and Andrew Thomas, 2 of our faster kids at the Plex. So, you know, it was a good first day. That was actually our first day back out on the dirt for 10 scale on a Saturday since September. So, if you're a regular of the show, you kind of know that our schedule is kind of different from all the other places around the country, and our 8 scale season is kind of in the winter time, and our 10 scale season is actually in the summertime. And I enjoy it that way, because then, you know, if we want to race 8 scale, we can go outside and go to some other track somewhere, and that's worked out really well. So but what am I trying to say? It was fun to be back kind of in a more, I don't want to say serious, but just a more, what's the word? I don't even know the word. Like I said, it's not serious. It's more like, maybe it is more serious. I mean, Saturday racers generally, you know, we care more about our lap times. We're like, you know, actually concerned with what we're running. I'm not saying that Friday night racers aren't, but generally speaking, we all kind of know that when when we're there on a Friday, you're not gonna like, oh, those do fit over that. You're not gonna, you know, break any records or anything. And I don't know, it was nice. It was really good to be kind of back out in that sort of environment where, you know, we're all actually chasing lap times and trying to hit our lines just right. And, you know, that's what I enjoy. So this is my first experience with these Voodoo shocks. I was right. There is no oil in these. That's why they're so freaking choppy. There's like this much oil in it. I wish I could, maybe you guys can see that, but there's barely any oil in there. So I'm going to go through all 4 of these. That explains why it just feels like it was just riding on the spring and then it was like getting stuck. And I think these O-rings that are in here probably need to get soaked a little bit too. So let's go ahead and take this thing apart and kind of get a really good look at it. So yeah, there's barely any oil in this thing at all. So that explains a lot, actually. I mean, there's supposed to be oil in it, right? I would assume so. So how do you get... Like, there's probably instructions online, but I don't know. Let's see. That's not coming off. Like, this looks almost like it's supposed to be 2 pieces. It's too bad I don't have another set of shock shaft pliers. I don't want to scratch anything up, so oh well. We'll just add some oil to it anyways, and then I'm gonna change these springs out too, because these, yeah, these are mini T, original mini T springs. You can still get them. So, Losi still makes them, and because you can still use them in the Mini B 2.0s, but this is pretty stiff, and this is way softer. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to put softer springs on because I thought the springs felt too stiff and choppy. And then I should have, another set of those right here. Some orange. See, those are stiffer. You see a lot of the crawler guys use this. I could use the pink springs from the old RC18. Ooh, actually these feel really good too. They're way shorter. Anyways, how's everybody doing? Let's get the chat going so we get some viewership and all that going. Plex has been doing really good. Kind of never really stops there, so I feel like there's always something to talk about. Oh, that's way softer. We're gonna go with that. Pretty sure these are the stock springs from the Mini B. At least that's where I think Emerson got them from. Yeah, see, those are stiff. We want soft. And then oil should be right here. I scored a honey pot. Is that the right word? No, honey pot's like a chick, isn't it? Or like a what did I score? I scored a bunch of old vintage parts. That's what I was trying to say. So that sounded really bad, but no, it's true. I got a bag full of parts, and if I didn't have all this here, I'd show you guys right now, but I'm not gonna as of yet. Anyways, yes, I am super stoked because one of the reasons why I don't run some of my older cars, like I've got the I've got a XXX SCT, and it's in good shape, and I've thought about trying to race it at a short course race, like an INS race or something like that. And one of the reasons I didn't is because if you break this part right here, you don't have one, you're kind of hosed, right? And so this truck has an aluminum front bulkhead, and it actually has an aluminum rear arm support. But when you do that, especially on these short course trucks, on these older ones, this Losi one, this T-plate right here, it does break. And so I actually scored like 8 of them. So I'm really excited because I really want to get this truck running again. So so I can just like race some short course truck. Because quite honestly, I hope this doesn't sound smug or anything, but I don't really think you need like the newest generation short course truck to do good racing short course truck. I think we're beyond like I think we're sort of beyond taking a slash, a stock slash, without a LCG chassis and like running it in Pro 2 and doing okay there. But I don't. I bet you that truck is pretty darn good because I remember how well it handled. You know, the last time I raced one of those, and it was pretty good. So I'm excited. Got a lot of parts. Got a lot of hubs, front spindle carriers, front knuckles, diff parts, spur gears, and then finally, why did I just do that? And then finally some of those plates. So I think I can get away with racing it, and if I do break it, then I won't feel so bad that I broke it, you know? God, that's so sticky. It like sticks. But now that I have found my other shock shaft pliers, we'll see if we can figure this out here. Why is that not? Now my hands are greasy. There we go. I suppose. What else do we got going on? So, got a video I'm working on for the tube here with the Losi 22S sprint car, and I was gonna do just like an unboxing video. There we go. But it just didn't kind of work out. I never really got the right feel for the video. Like a lot of chatter in the background and stuff, and it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't feel like I nailed it, so I didn't post it. But I did take the car, and we put a 13.5 hobby wing motor in it so that we can race in the 360 class, which is our spec class for sprint car. And I'm pretty much documenting that whole thing, and probably will have my first run on that car tomorrow, and then we're gonna put a little video together after we race it, even if I lose a lot, even if I don't do well with it. I'm gonna get that posted up, and it should be really good. So look forward to that. So the way that this shock works, okay, so there we go. So it's very much like you got two O-rings and a spacer. Wow. All right, so we've got, oh, it's very much like an associated, so you got the little sandwich here. So machined piece, then a O-ring, then another machined spacer, then an O-ring, and then this guy right here, and they kind of make a sandwich, and it's just really sticky. So we're gonna green slime this thing and see if that'll help. It'll also help it seal. Maybe we should try to, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. It's just really sticky. Like, I'm surprised by how sticky the shock is. It doesn't want to just flow through it. That's a little bit better. We're gonna green slime the outside of this too. Put it back in here. Actually, let me go goes that way. Like that. And then that goes like that. And we'll tighten her back down here. More stuff going on at the Plex too. We officially start crawling on Tuesday nights tomorrow, and then we also have our official practice night tomorrow. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Last week we were still trying to run Tiny Tuesday off-road, which is fine, but just the turnout kind of drops off. I also did put on the flyer that we were stopping in March, so it's probably a little bit my fault too. Well, that's better. Yeah, I'm excited for that tomorrow. I think hopefully we get some guys to come out and just use that, because even if we're not racing, just having that having those timed laps, you know, you can go in, make a change. It's from 4 to 9, so you get 5 hours to make some changes and work on your car a little bit if you want. I think it's gonna be really good. K&M Adventures on here. Hello. I might have stripped this, which sucks if I did that. It's kind of dumb on my fault, on my part. Man, it's still sticky. I do have a couple different pairs of shocks. I've got the Axial Pro shocks. They might not be as long as this. I just don't like how sticky these feel. And it's not like they're bad or anything. It's just like the O-rings are sealed really tight on them. Maybe that'll change when we actually have oil in it, because it kind of felt like there wasn't oil in these shocks, and there wasn't. So which kind of makes sense. If I was I mean, I like to build my stuff, so I guess I could have probably expected that they wouldn't come with any oil in them, so you could put whatever you want. See, now they're filled up. Will the timed practice be on the carpet track? Nope, timed practice is on the dirt. Carpet track will be open, but we only have one loop, so unfortunately, timed practice will be on the dirt. Alright, so we do got to bleed these. Jason Haley on here. What's going on in this channel? Honestly, not a whole lot. I've tried to stay busy, but it's been hard as of late. Huh. Gotta bleed it some more. I don't know. Maybe there's not supposed to be a whole lot of oil in there. No. There's... Just gonna bleed out a little bit more, that's all. Alright. Kind of learning this shock as we go, I guess. It's, again, Voodoo shock on a Ottsix Wizard 2 brand new truck. Got it on the pre-order. Got it together this afternoon, and after putting it together, just kind of looking it over, I'm like, these shocks feel weird. So Kevin P wants to know, hey, what did you think about the vintage race at the HobbyPlex? I watched it the whole weekend. Yeah, I was actually kind of pissed I wasn't there. I was going to go, but um, I ran a race for a friend of mine that runs a Solva race in Kansas the week before, and it didn't feel right taking 2 weekends off in a row. So I ended up staying, and kind of butthurt that I didn't get to go because um, I have my, where's it at? I got my red RC10 that runs and it's ready to go, and it's for the uh, um, it's 17.5, so it's stock, um, and then I got an extra triple X buggy, and I just got a whole bunch of parts so I could actually run it. So I was pretty excited about that, and unfortunately, I just didn't get to go. So if I was just about to mention that, so here's the deal: they scheduled the associated races the same weekend as the INS race at Hoosier, and the last couple years, um, my son and I have tried to go to 3 of those um, to participate in the points, and so if I blow out a 40 plus, which is a possibility this year, um, I got third at trackside, and kind of didn't feel good about it. I probably shouldn't have gotten third. I actually stripped this shock, which totally sucks. So okay, here's the deal, people. Don't over tighten your Ottsix shock because it will strip. So I just ruined this shock. That's a bummer. Um, anyways, so if I blow out at our race in August and I'm not in the points, then um, I'll probably try to go to that vintage race in Las Vegas. I actually already asked my wife about it, and she was like, kind of like, "Hey, we should, yeah, that sounds good. We should go." So, um, you can go there pretty cheap from Omaha, so um, I think it would be a good time. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm a little butthurt that um, I didn't get to go, but it happens. Um, I'm a Matt Francis stalker. Not really, but like when I was a kid, whenever I say kid, I mean teenager, but whenever I got a chance to be at a race with the Losi crew, he was always the one that I'd approach because he was, in my opinion, was like one of the nicest ones. So, and he sort of remembered my name back then. So I really wanted to go just for that, but I missed out. So what are you gonna do? I'm actually I'm looking forward to Hobby Haven this year. So there's a track in Des Moines, Iowa, and last year they wanted to do a series on Wednesday nights. It was like once a month, and I really wanted to go last year, but it rained so much that they actually stopped. Um, they actually they called off racing for the year, and they actually dug like a drainage system underneath the track. So now when it rains, instead of basically creating a lake, it's kind of like our place used to be 17 years ago. Um, they installed a drainage system, and then it started a drought like in the middle of summer. So their track was kind of down for the count for the rest of the summertime. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing if they do that again because I really want to take that RC10 over there, and I got an RC10 4x4 that I haven't even looked at yet. I bought it and then I set it aside, and it's upstairs on the shelf instead of being down here. But I'm kind of glad I didn't build it because there's all these addendums to the build that Team Associated is putting on their website, their YouTube channel. So it looks like there's a belt tensioning video that just came out, a shimming video that just came out, and then there was something else and I can't remember what it was. But anyways, so I'm kind of happy that I waited so I could let that kind of sort itself out, and then kind of go from there. So that'll actually work out. But I bought that car with the intention of running it. I know some of these cars, like the one we're going to get this week, the metal version, you know, some of those are kind of like, you don't really, you can build them, but a lot of those I bet you are being purchased and then just sort of set up almost like a collector piece, or they're being built and never driven, like my CC car over here, the clear one. But the 4-wheel drive, like, I actually wanted to build that and actually run it, so I'm kind of looking forward to that this summer. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a good time. I hope it's a good time. Oh, that feels way better. It's stripped, but it's not stripped enough to where I think it's gonna come apart. Like, it, I don't know if you can see that, but it moves a little bit. So that's my fault. I'm gonna have to get. I'll order another set of these and wait, because I think they're out of stock everywhere. But I think I can get away with running that because I don't think that's gonna come apart. It doesn't feel like it's gonna do that. So, but that feels way better compared to the other one. We'll get the other one and compare it just to show you guys the difference between the two, how different they are. So yeah, 30 weight oil, the low C pink spring, which is a pretty common in the crawler world, I think, for guys that are doing this sort of spring setup. Yeah. Hope it doesn't come from China. I'm pretty sure it comes from... No! You know what? These... I don't want to guess. I don't know. Like, if I don't... Vanquish stuff is made here in the U.S. I think this stuff's made here. Maybe not. Maybe. I have other stuff. Like I said, I have get out my crawler bin of parts. I have this like gigantic box of parts and arms and all sorts of stuff. Where's my shocks at? So I have the stock Vanquish ones. See right there? But they use the coilover. Now you can set this up to use a spring like that, but it's just so different. And they're a little shorter. Like, if anything, it would probably be the yeah, see here? This is a Vanquish shock that I set up with the underspring. Those shocks kind of leak though. Some of the best shocks that I've used so far has been the Axial Pro shock set, and they're relatively cheap. Some of these crawler shocks are kind of stupid. Team Brood shocks, actually, we got those at the store. I wonder if those would work. Oh well. I didn't necessarily want to start like changing a bunch of stuff. I just wanted to, as I was putting this together, I'm like, man, these shocks are sticky. And now that I know how they come apart and work and everything, it should be really, really easy here to get all 4 of these in good shape. So yeah, I was wondering if the tariff thing was going to get brought up tonight live here. So you're going to see some prices go up if everything goes into effect. It's just kind of the way it's going to be, unfortunately. Unfortunately, RC stuff mostly comes from China. Like, it's just kind of the way it's been for a long time, actually. For at least 20 years, you know? Yeah, okay. See that? I don't know if you guys can see how springy that is. And you watch this one. See how nice and slow that is? That's what we want. Cole Webb's on here. Hello, Cole. Hello, I signed up for the ProTech race. PayPal won't take my debit card for some reason. Could I pay it? Yeah, that's fine. That race never really sells out anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. And I'd say a majority of people pay. If the race was like sold out right now, then I would get on everybody to get paid up. But since it's not, then I'm not really that worried about it. And we'll get it all sorted out as we get there. In fact, I just put in the... we just got the shirt design approved. And we got the... I got to get the numbers, the final numbers here in another week. So this year's shirt's going to be kind of cool. They're... I wanted it to be... I want it to look like a movie poster. Don't ask me why. I just was trying to be creative and do something different. And see if I can bring it up. And I'll show you guys. Show you guys while you're here. I'll just give you a sneak peek of the layout too. Might as well. Let's see. Where do I keep that at? Maybe... That's not it. Where do I keep that at? Oh, that's right there. Download? Screenshot? Oh, yes, screenshot. Kind of got chopped off, but I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a little better. Doesn't transfer to video, I think, the way that I thought it did. Anyways, it's gonna look really cool. So, what I did was I sent them a Reservoir Dogs. They were like, "Well, which movie? Like, what movie poster are we talking about?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man." So I sent them the Fight Club movie poster, which we haven't used the movie poster before, but we used to have this a couple years ago. We tried doing this thing on Sundays called Slash Club, and it was slash spec, plex spec, slash spec, 4x4 spec, and then like an open 4x4 class, and it did okay. It was kind of fun. It was fun, not kind of fun, but it didn't get as well attended as I had hoped. Well, then I sent them the Reservoir Dogs movie poster, and then they came up with what you guys just saw. So they did a pretty good job. I mean, it's very similar, and yeah, I think they're going to translate well to the shirt. So should be really good. If you want a shirt, you got to get signed up by the 14th of April, which is coming up quick. That's Monday, next Monday, a week from now. I know that because we're going to start doing the spring track build, spring clean, and repair on Sunday. This coming up Sunday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We race Friday, Saturday, and then an Easter's on Sunday. So it's a good schedule. Yeah, look at that. That's hopefully we don't strip this one. That would not be good at all. That was kind of dumb. At least now I know how they go together, so I can be prepared for it and not over tighten it. Because I think that's what I did was I over tightened it. Why is that so? Oh, there it goes. Okay. I want to get done with this so I can move on to the Arma car. I think that'd be fun. I've been putting together like Plex spec cars to run on Friday nights, and then to possibly sell and get some people into Plex Spec. And I put together a Typhon, and that seemed to work out pretty well. The kid who got that, he did really good with it already. He's kicking butt with it, so it's kind of rewarding when that happens. So we're just gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna put a bunch of green slime in this, and then put it back together. So coat it with green slime, and then put it all back together, and it should work out pretty good. And, squeeze this together. I still have green slime in the tube. I kind of feel bad I'm using this. There's not much of this left. Apparently you gotta like scoop it out with your fingers now. I hate that. That's a huge pet peeve of mine, that we're doing this now, that we're putting all the oils into these little things, and then you gotta like use your finger. It's annoying. Like, you know, I don't know. It's an RC pet peeve of mine. But here I am, I'm using my finger to coat it anyway, so maybe everybody knows something I don't. Greasy. Put that back in. Put this back together. Don't over tighten it this time. Somebody said, sorry I distracted you. You didn't distract me. I actually stripped it out before I started looking at comments. So it's kind of my fault. It's all my fault. Believe me. Pretty good at doing dumb stuff lately. Getting back into the RC game, what are y'all using for sauce these days? So we're using Silver Compound, J-Concept Silver Slicks, Raw Speed. God, that feels like crap. The other tire sauce, or Jesus, the other tire is Raw Speed Slicks in Gumball or White Compound. Proline has their Bald Eagles in S3 and MC Compound. AKA has a slick and a void front. So J Concepts tires, you want to use either SXT Baja, the Gravity Grip Doctor, or TDK Gen 2. And I'm a big fan of TDK, but lately, ever since Trackside, just because we had a bottle of it, I've actually been using Grip Doctor, and they're all doing really good. So it's kind of personal preference. Do not use PB Blaster on Silver Compound. Just don't. That's not something that we're doing. That's good for gold compound, but not silver. So if you're running silver, you should be running one of those. We have all that in stock at the Plex. In fact, I made a huge order of TDK, so we're not even going to be close to running out like last year. Last year we ran out, and then I felt really dumb. So, but Grip Doctor's been really good. I have the thing that I noticed about Grip Doctor is that the tires are coming off the track. The tires feel almost like felty, I guess. TDK is probably a little more aggressive, I think, than Grip Doctor. And I like to go out on TDK wet. And I'm going to try to get us to not do that. So I don't know what I'm going to do after this next track build. And I kind of want cars to be set down in a certain area. I'm going to try to build like a staging thing. That's something that Hoosier does, and they that's one of the things that Hoosier does really well, is they have this box with carpet on it that you set your car on. when the next race is over, then you jump down so your car's not in the way. Sometimes our cars where we set them down at can kind of slip into the track. That happened this year at Techno Series actually, and caused probably the only real ruckus we had all year long. So, you know, boy, that's still. The reason why I like to go out with wet tires, so I sauce my tires once and then I sauce them again real quick. The reason I do that is because then before your practice lap, you don't pick up dirt on your tires. So if you've ever seen somebody struggling out there with their car, a lot of times it's because if you look at their tires are just covered in dust. And I've noticed that if I don't go out there with wet tires, I go out there with dry tires, my tire sauce will actually like attract the dust, the dirt to the tire. So, and once that happens, you're out to lunch. Now that might change because we are going to be putting a little bit of gypsum mineral into the track to see if we can wake the track up a little bit and keep it from cracking so bad. And if that happens, then it probably won't be a big deal to worry about. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where I noticed it, so that's why I do it. But with both Grip Doctor, it hasn't been as bad. So that's why I've been using Grip Doctor lately, personally. If that makes any sense. But Emerson and I, we used SXT Baja like all week long at the trackside race. So, you know, I mean, it can be, sometimes it's just personal preference. That was a long answer. All right. We'll get this done. We'll put our front shocks back on. I think I'm going to get away with that. So I stripped it, but I don't think it's going to be bad where it's going to like come apart. So I think I got away with one there. Honestly, I should probably just turn that around. Yeah, it'll be fine. Let's do this one. My hands are like super greasy now. So yeah, tomorrow's our first crawler day. We got time to practice on the track, on the dirt track, and Wednesdays, of course, Wednesdays never stop. Wednesdays on road at the Plex. On-road's been doing really well at our shop, so I think that trend's going to continue. I think that trend's going to continue at our place. I really do. Just the vibe from the on-road stuff has been really good, and I think because we're not running carpet off-road next year, I think we'll just see a little bit more interest in the on-road side. As soon as Team Associated releases their new touring car, their first touring car since 2016, 17, I think, when Team Associated stopped with the 7.2 TC7. I think that's right. So they're supposed to have a TC8 whenever that gets released. I think that'll create some interest because it'll be an American company back into the on-road scene. It's kind of been dominated lately by the European side, you know, X-Rays, Awesomatics. What's another? Roche? Is that Japanese, I think? So it's going to be an American car company. It's going to be the best company ever. I can't do a Trump, so that's the best you're going to get from me. Gosh darn it. I'm trying to get that thing loosened up. The fun part about new crawler, I haven't had a new crawler in 2 years. Did I get the Vanquish last year? Or was it the year before that? So I had an Axial Pro the year before that. Then I had the Vanquish for last year was new. So okay, this is be a new crawler. Another 3 years in a row. And before that I had Enduro. So on my crawler side of things, I guess I do kind of. I just like RC. Like if something comes out and I think it's going to be cool and I can get my hands on it, I'm gonna get it. You know, to a point. Like that Traxxas Sandrail is kind of cool, but there's no way I'm buying one of those. Just too expensive. Too rich for my blood. What is going on? Cole Webb's thinking about getting a TA08. I believe that car can run in any of those, kind of like how I do with the 07. I think Tim's got an 08. I thought he was going to let me build that, actually. And then I haven't seen it since. I don't know why this is stuck on there now. Shoot. It's because my hands are all just greasy from all the oil. It sucks. I don't know. I was thinking about taking my TA07 and slapping that USGT motor back into it because when I took that car out for TCS 2 weeks ago, hadn't been driven in like a year. Like it was slow, like really slow. And then I looked at it, I'm like, I gotta throw a bigger gear on there. So I put a way bigger gear on there, and then all of a sudden with that USGT motor, it's actually laying down times that the 17.5 Reedies were doing in GT1, but I didn't want to put that in GT1 because I didn't realize it was the wrong motor until I looked at it and went, oh crap, that's not even the right motor. So then it made me think that I was way, 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 way under geared for Wednesday night USGT with that car. So if I got the gearing right, then I probably could be just as fast as it should be, if that makes any sense. So I don't know. A lot of racing to do. Like it sucks. Like I said, we got this Losi sprint car that we're gonna play with. There we go. Right? Did I get it? There we go. Now I got it. Did I get it? Feels like I got it. It's the threaded thing for it, but it's like, it was almost like stuck. There we go. Now we got it. Okay, good. Man. It's tight, like which is good. I mean, that means it's good stuff, but it's like there's not much tolerance for messing stuff up. Anyways, where was I? What was I talking about? Oh, the on-road stuff. Yeah, there's so much stuff, like the sprint racing coming up this weekend, and then you got the track build. I'm going to try my hardest to get the live stream going for the track build. So we got 12 viewers. So I talked about it a little bit on the podcast when it happened, but we had a break-in on Christmas Day, and unfortunately almost all of my equipment on the off-road side got taken. And so what stinks about it is I had everything like perfect. Like it was all perfect. And then this happens and it's like you got to start over. So I had everything redundant. So I had, not redundant, but I had I had the live stream on one computer. I had the computer showing like everything in the pits on another computer, and then I had the race computer. So I had 3 different computers running everything. So there wasn't any way for any of it to get overloaded or whatever. And it just everything was good. Everything was fine. And then this happens, and we had some extra computers lying around, but they're all slow. And so I remember when I first tested the stream on what at the time was my club race computer, and it was slow. Like, it was laggy and just not very good, and it wouldn't have been good content, period, for the tube. So I didn't use that computer. Well, I don't want to do that again, so I've kind of been holding back. I've kind of been holding back, waiting to get the right computer. So this one's still pretty sticky. I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna like crap on these shocks, but they're new. Maybe they just need to be worked in a little bit. But it's like the O-rings are like just gripping onto this shock shaft and making it so it won't. It's just like stuck. Oh, that's better. It's just a preload. But see, it also won't come all the way out. So like this one only comes out to there, but this one feels great, and it comes all the way out. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to crap on these shocks. It's not. They feel good, but they just won't. They won't do what they're supposed to. And I stripped one. I'll have to look at shocks when I get to the shop tomorrow, because I'm probably going to have to at least put a new set of fronts on. Try to get them the same length. Though they're probably 100 millimeter. Actually, you can probably tell. What else is going on in the RC world with you guys? Probably going to be on here for another 30 minutes. There's a new episode of Kill Tony, so I got to watch that before I go to bed tonight. Yeah, these are 90 millimeters, so we got lots of 90 mils at the shop, at the store. That shouldn't be an issue at all. I just don't have to buy a shock if I don't want to, but probably going to have to. It's got to be something. Like, I haven't done one of these in like 6 months. Is it November? Cole Webb's heading to the Thunderdome for on-road. Is that Chicago? The Chicago place? I think there's quite a few other places that do TCS races too. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Is that what it's for? Or are you just going to race? Peter says he hasn't touched his stuff all winter. I hear that. I haven't. It's weird. Like I raced e-buggy all winter long, but that's only once a month, and on Friday nights too. I shouldn't say that, but I really didn't need to work on it a whole lot. It's kind of one of those kind of why I like racing e-buggy. It's not as near as much maintenance as if you got a nitro car, and played a lot more video games this winter than I have ever. And not just games, one game in particular. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is an older game. It's like 4 years old, but for me it was new, and I got pretty deep into that, unfortunately. spent probably a lot more time than I should have. That's a huge game. Like I'm not even close to being done, but now that kind of like spring is here, I'm going to be doing more of what I like to do, which is like fishing and obviously RC. So it's kind of a wintertime thing for me. But yeah, I don't think I didn't mess with a lot of my RC stuff either. Actually, I mean, you still have to. Like I still have to because like we got this channel. So so I'm always trying to think of stuff that I could do that'd be interesting. I don't really care about the views as much as I just care about will it be something interesting or with information and stuff. And that's kind of why I've been doing those Alex Fixes videos, because it's like if I'm going to be at the store working on somebody's car, diagnosing it, trying to troubleshoot it, problem solve, I might as well video it, and they're not really meant to be a how-to. It's more of just like I don't know, just something to kind of fill the space, I guess. But I always thought that'd be kind of interesting to see how we at the store sort of figure out people's stuff that they bring in. Because a lot of times people don't really know what's wrong with it. They're just like, I have no idea. That's what you got. You guys are the experts. I hear that a lot. It's one of my pet peeves when somebody is like, well, you're the expert. And you're less. I just want to be like, it's like, because they're being snarky about it. They're there for my help, but then they're being snarky to me. It's like, come on, man. Anyways, but anyways, so I still had to like do stuff, but not even like my own personal stuff. I really didn't even work on that much. Like I felt really unprepared for the trackside race in February. We just gotten Emerson's stuff. He just got picked up by Associated this year, and I didn't think we were prepared. He did really good. I didn't really do that good, and I think it's because I didn't feel like I was prepared. Plus, my eyes were killing me all weekend. It was just weird. But springtime's here. There's new stuff out. There's new stuff to do. Obviously, the summer series at the store is going to be, it's my favorite thing. Out of all the stuff in RC, my favorite thing is our Team Associated Summer Series. So I look forward to that from the time it's over in September all the way till we start racing again in May. And I'm really looking forward to that. My stuff's working good right now, so other than breaking my Mugen 3 times on Saturday, which was kind of strange. I broke a servo, and I broke both of the back shock mounts. And one of them was for no reason. The other one, I get. Like, I cased the jump super hard, but that was dumb. The crawler I'm building, so this is a Ottsix Wizard C2. So it's Class 2, brand new truck from Ottsix. There was a pre-order for him. I actually was refreshing I was refreshing the page, and I was putting in my credit card info, and the Plex lost power for like 5 minutes, and so we lost internet, and so I couldn't complete the transaction. So then I was freaking out because I want to be like one of the first ones. So I was able to get back in like 20 minutes later. I actually finished it on my phone, and got it. It's not one of the 10. Like, apparently, if you get one of the first 10, you get a certificate. So I didn't get one of those, but that's okay. It's not. This isn't really for collecting. I want to run this truck, and yeah, it's just something new, something really good. One of the reasons why I wanted it. I'll show you guys the difference here. So that's a little better. I mean, it's not sticky like the rear shocks. You can see that and how weird they are. So obviously got to put oil in them, and then went to that softer spring. I think that's going to work a little bit better. But anyways, so see this right here? Right here. See that? So the drive shaft, so your motor mount is down here. Spur gear is right here. This goes to the transfer case. This obviously makes it four-wheel drive, front and rear. And then this goes to this guy, and then this has an angle coming down to here, whereas the like Vanquish Carbon, which is a really good crawler, right? But it's more of your traditional, just a single drive shaft going all the way to the back, right? And so you don't get the breakover angle. So lately, when we set up a course at the Plex for crawler night, and you got a really high breakover, I almost always either have to try to muscle up and almost like jump it, or pull myself up through the winch. So I'm giving up 3 points, or I'm risking touching a gate, by trying to do the jump thing. So when I saw this, and was like, oh man, a truck that I can just order and this is already done, because most of the time you have to like get your axles from somewhere, get a chassis from somebody, get the transfer case from somebody else, get the links from somebody else, get the Traxxas spur gear thing, and it was annoying. Like, you couldn't just buy a single thing. That's why I was so happy when Axial came out with their Pro a couple years ago, was they were the first ones to kind of make a true comp crawler that you could just buy out of the box and go comp. And then Vanquish did it, and then Element did it, and then I saw this and I'm like, I'm totally buying that. So metal, it's got metal axles. I can't remember the name of the actual axle, but everything's really etched with that voodoo thing too. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's pretty neat though. And then I bought the brass up front. But anyways, this thing's cool. Like, it's just cool. It's just one of those cool things. And I know it's a crawler. Not all of you are into crawling. I get that, but for me, it's just neat. I just like neat stuff. So yeah, Big Buckarama, the power company, said no FOMO for you. It was a weird day. We just had like a power surge and it cut everything out. And then that night, like, we had our first like computer issue in a long time, and I think it was related because it reset all of our IP addresses and all that sort of fun stuff. I don't know, just thinking out loud. So yeah, so Ottsix is the company that makes the Voodoo drag tires that everybody wants, usually the red compound. And they were the tires that some people were putting on eBay for like $200, and people were buying them because they were the only ones that had them, type thing, one of those things. So yeah, it's it's like I said, the build today, I was thinking about trying to do a video on it, but I'm like, nah, I just want to build it. But the quality is really good. Everything fit real nice. It's real tight. Like, the tolerances are very, very tight. So there's not really a whole lot of slop anywhere. There's no slop anywhere, actually. My goal tonight was just to get the chassis built, and then I'm gonna put a J Concepts body on it, and I'm gonna get the new Bossman J Concepts tire in green compound, and I got the Ottsix wheels. So the truck comes with wheels, but they were silver, and I kind of didn't want silver, so I got the red ones, the red Ottsix wheels. They're gonna be really good. Probably work on those tomorrow or later this week, I guess. And yeah, I'm gonna miss this. Won't be ready for tomorrow's crawling night, but it will be ready for next week's, I think. And then just got to figure out what the electronics. You should be putting a brushless in this, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I haven't decided yet. Cole wants to know how come the dirt track is closed basically all week. It's closed because every spring we do our annual full top to bottom track build, and then any repairs that need to be done, we get it done. Any cleaning that needs to be done, which is a lot, we get done. It's basically kind of like a spring cleaning because the place just gets annihilated in the wintertime. I mean, you think about how many people use that track now on a weekly basis. Like, we actually have, and I'm really proud of this, we have a really good crowd of people that come in. They don't even race. They just come in and they use the track. They have certain days that they come in, whether it's Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays. Sundays have been great. But we need to, the wall is fine. So usually I repair the back wall. The back wall is fine. So we don't have to worry about that. We will touch up on the paint. We're going to get a couple of our guys to come in and power wash the inside. So think about all that dust and dirt and nitro in the wintertime that just kind of sits there, and it kind of clings to that white insulation inside of the building. So a couple of years ago we power washed that down. It looked really nice. And here's the, I'll give you guys a peek at the track layout. Although I have kind of drawn on it a little bit to see if there's other ways I could do it. But this is what I'm thinking about for the ProTech race. You guys can see them. Let me make sure I see that in my belly. I look like I'm pregnant on here. It's like got fat over the wintertime. Like, what happened? I mean, I was already fat, but I feel like I got fatter. Anyways, so we're going to be going... so we're actually going to go... This arrow's wrong. So we're actually going to go this way. So... the front straightaway is going to get all tilled up on Monday, the 14th. You're going to come down, up there. There's going to be a rhythm section. There's a peaky jump, not peaky jump, peaky bunch of dirt right here. We're going to keep that. I'm actually going to extend it all the way over here. This is about maybe halfway through the oval. Then you come down here, you're going to turn, you're going to drop in, come back here, come down here, and come that way and come that way. So this should be the layout that we see when I'm done on the 18th of April. So I'm excited for that. I originally wanted it to go this way, but there's a thing we're gonna make over here, and it didn't feel right. It didn't flow very good. So we're gonna actually, when I thought about going the direction we've been going, then it flowed better. When we do the INS race, which is this one, we'll be going that direction again too, I guess. So the straightaway will be curved and downhill right here. And then this will be a hill, and then you go up and down. And then this will be a hill that you go up. So it's going to be a very big sweeping, in my mind I see a big sweeping elevation, a lot of elevation change. This right here is basically the highest part of the track. And then there'll be a jump section over here, and come in here, and then you'll jump up. And then this right here, we've done one of these before. I kind of want to do it again, so it'll be a zigzag back and forth with elevation. So it'll be very technical. And then we'll go up and then back down. So this might change. It usually does. Like when I draw these out, you know, I have it in my head. This is what I'm going to use. And then I'll look at it and I might find a way to do something better, or the jumps might be changed. It's just one of those things where it might not be exactly the same. But then again, it might. I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's what makes it fun. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't do it anymore. Believe me. I do get excited for spring. That's why I get excited for spring, because of stuff like that. So those are way better, I gotta say. Just like a softer, slower front end, because you want it to, like, when you grab it, you want your front end to like get sucked up. You don't want a lot of resistance there, I don't think. I don't know. Put jumps in corners. The hobby action guys love that. I mean, every track designer kind of has their thing. I know that I kind of like when I look at what Hoosier does and how they do their jumps. They have a certain style to them, and it's hard for me to match that style because in my head I see, and when I'm out there in the tractor and I'm trying to shape the jump, you know, I'm trying to see, okay, I want the cars to go this far, and I don't want them to do this, or I do want them to do this. It doesn't flow good if they do it this way. So I'm trying to keep them in that area where I feel like the track will flow good. Sometimes I nail it. I think what year was that? 2022. I think the 22 INS race, because we had our first INS race since 2015 back in 2021. That was the February one where it got super duper cold, and that track had one cool element. It had that 8-pack on the back wall where you could double and then quad it in mod, and it was super fun. And but the rest of the track I didn't like. But I thought the 2022 track was like the perfect track because it had lots of elevation. We used the entire thing. It was fast, flowy, and it had one little technical part where you came up the hill and you had to if you hit it right, you could sort of jump the pipe a little bit and get straight line it. And that was the year that Emerson and I duked it out in Mini B as like a exhibition race. I thought that track was like really really good, and I've been trying to like recreate that feel again. That was like one of the perfect tracks. So, but every track designer has their own little thing. You know, Joey at the dirt. You know, that guy can whip out a track, and it's you can tell it's a Joey track because it's his style. You know, of how the jumps are and how they flow into one another, and you know, sometimes they'll put in that crossover bridge thing, or he'll have that step up type jump. You know, he did that for a couple years in a row. I don't know. If I had only one, if you had to choose only one to participate in, what would it be? Crawling, mini, carpet, 10 scale carpet, or dirt, or 8 scale? Uh, I don't know, man. That's a tough call because I mean, I can throw out if I had to choose one. I know mini B, even though I love it, and and my car's really good, and my video on that's doing really good. I wouldn't want to race that all the time. An 8 scale, I don't have that urge to race 8 scale. I wouldn't want I don't think I'd have that urge to race 8 scale the whole time either. I think it'd have to be, for me personally, it'd be mod 2-wheel drive, even though I suck at it now. Like, um, it's still my favorite car to drive, and it's still my favorite class. So, um, I tell you, if I lived in Phoenix or Milwaukee or Louisville, and I didn't, and I had a totally different job, and I was just into RC, um, I would be at those tracks probably 3 times a week, for sure, because all three of those places are amazing. And if I was just a regular person and didn't work at a hobby store and wasn't in charge of what I'm in charge of and building the tracks and stuff like that, I guarantee I'd be there three at least 3 times a week. One of those would be race night. You know, I'd be there to practice at least once, and you know, that's what I would do for sure. So mod 2 is still my favorite. There's no doubt. Crawling comes in a very close second. The only reason why I would choose the racing over crawling right now is because I still like the competition part of it. I still like that hitting the fast lap, and I still like making a pass. It's fun. Like when it happens, and it's like a good golf shot. For crawling, it's totally different. You're not what anybody else does doesn't affect you at all. Um, unless they dig out part of the course before you with their tires or whatever. So uh, it would come in a close second, but yeah, definitely racing. Really sucked building 2 tracks within a month at Hobby Action. So much work. Yes. That's why I don't do it as much. Like that's why uh, that's why track changes happen at the Plex maybe one time a month right now, and usually they're minor. So we do this one coming up, and that takes a full week. And I do that on purpose so that I have time in case something breaks down, heaven forbid, or something like that. But also like just so I have time to sort of make sure that everything gets cleaned up and everything's looking nice for the Pro Tech race, and then that kind of starts our summer off. Um, but you know, the Pro Tech race layout will go in and probably won't change it until probably this year. If unless it gets really bad, we probably won't change it until the June round of the summer series. Um, my son's graduating this year, so we have his graduation on what would be the regular summer series week, which is the week after Mother's Day. Almost always that Saturday is a summer series day. Well, his graduation's that weekend, and then his graduation party is the following weekend. So I'm not going to be working on the track either of those 2 weeks at all. So he only graduates once. So you got to make sure that I got to make sure I'm here and don't miss out on any of the fun that they're having. Otherwise, we would change the track a little bit for the first round of the summer series, but I don't think that's going to work out that happens. Like I said, unless it just gets trashed, like unless it needs something, then it'll have to be in the middle of the week. But yeah, usually once a month, and it's usually the series race. So, you know, we'll change the track a lot in October for the 8 scale cars, and then there'll be a track change for December, and then there'll be one for January. But they're usually like small pockets of the track, not the whole thing, because that takes a lot of time, and it's a lot of work. And I used to be real gung ho about it, and I'm not anymore. I'm getting old. Big Buckarama says the 8-pack was fun to watch. That was a cool section. And the reason why I made that was because, in my opinion, the perfect track, the most perfect track that we've ever had. Let's see if I got a picture of it. Like, by far the perfect track ever, and I think this was 2017. Let's see if it shows up on video. But this was when our dirt was different. Like our dirt right now, it does this weird thing where it just cracks really bad, and it didn't do it here. And I think it's because of all the stuff that we were putting in the track. I really do. But that right there, in my opinion, this was like the most perfect track we've ever had. This was 2018, I think, 17 or 18. It was the first year that we had the white corrugated pipe. We use the white hard pipe now, but I found this corrugated stuff in Iowa, and I ordered like 1,000 feet of it. We used it up in 2020. When we started racing again in 2020, I called this place to see if they had any more of it, and I don't know if it's just COVID or what, but they were like, "Yeah, we're not making that anymore. It was too expensive to make," and so I couldn't get it anymore. So that's when we went to the hard pipe. But this was a single, so a roller. So you turn the corner and then you rolled it, and then you doubled up the hill, and I wanted to recreate that, and that's where that part of that 2021 track came from. 22, no 21, yeah. And it was fun. It was definitely fun. The only part of the track I liked. Everything else I hated. But this track was badass. And this is where I got the wall ride from. I don't know if you guys can see that still. So we recreated that this year for the INS race. And I thought it was okay. But the INS, this past INS race, the 24 track, was basically a version of this track. Because I wanted to recreate this track. We only had this track for like 3 weeks. And I don't know. It was the same but not. And it wasn't quite as good as I wanted it to be. So we're gonna nail it this year though. I have no doubt. And I think this Pro Tech race layout's gonna be really good too. So I used to have a friend. He passed away in 2010, but he always used to yell at me that my jumps were too big. And that was back in the B4 XXX days. So I think our jumps at the Plex are probably, in the wintertime, they're definitely too big for 10 scale, but we still do it. Like that big triple that's in the middle right now, it's big. Even double singling it, it's a big jump. So I'll be glad to plow that one and get rid of that for the summer. But 8 scale guys love it, and it's fun. I love sending my e-buggy over a big jump. But I get how the 10 scale, the hardcore 10 scale crowd might not like it. So yeah, I think when I'm sketching out stuff, it's fun to go back and look at our previous live streams, previous videos. My other channel, my personal channel, Gunter Loxes, whatever. It's an acronym for my name. So I've got some old videos from some of the very first tracks that we did indoors from 2012, 13, and 14. And you can kind of see the switch, like when we started painting the track versus when we didn't. So like all the videos from 2012 and 13, we never painted the track, and they kind of had a certain style to them because they were a little bit more 1/8 scale oriented. Because back in 2009 and 10, that's kind of what we were running the most of. And then when we went indoor, it sort of dropped off. So, especially in the summertime. So, you can see from that, and then go to 2014, all of a sudden the tracks are way more 10 scale friendly. And it's kind of been that way ever since for summertime stuff. So, yeah, sometimes if something works, I'll kind of put it in my memory banks, or I'll take a picture of it and I'll be like, I want to do that again, but I want to use it in a different way. Anthony says he liked launching his cars on that triple sun. I did too, until I broke my Mugen twice in the same spot. One time I think it was already broke. The second time, that was my fault, but still. Yeah, I was gonna say Jake Thayer working at Hobby Action. I'm sure that it's like OCRC had a very specific feel to the track layouts and builds and stuff, so that wouldn't surprise me at all. In the Phoenix area, you guys had Competition Hobbies, and I know Richard Lake worked there, right? So it's hard to find, but there are some vids of Competition Hobbies tracks, and some of them were gnarly. Like some of them had these crazy like some crazy elevation stuff where like you dropped in and you had to almost like stop and set your car up and then drop down into something so that you could clear this whole section. And like if you kept your momentum up and went too far on the drop down, you couldn't make this jump. I remember watching that and thinking that's really cool. I'd like to try to do that. I remember seeing one with a crossover, and I was like, I don't think I want to do a crossover like that. I remember watching that going, oh, that'd be kind of tough. All right. Well, we kind of accomplished something today. I always say we're going to do this and this, but we really only get so far because interacting with the comments is fun, and that's what we're kind of here for. So I learned something today. We'll see how long this shock lasts for that I stripped out. It might not last, so I might have to get a new one. But they definitely feel better. I don't know if you guys can see that as good as I can feel it, but definitely better with some oil in them for starters, and then also those softer springs. I think without even trying it, that's kind of how I like my stuff set up. So yeah, that Spokane track is crazy. How much grip they have, and how quick you go. I mean, we used to have tracks like that here, so fast lane's kind of that way in Kansas City, but even before then, so let's see, from I was gonna sign off, but now you brought something up. So like so from 2000 to 2008, I think, maybe even earlier, might have been 2007, I probably went to either Chillicothe or Blue Springs, Blue View Raceway every Saturday. So because we didn't have any off-road indoor around here, so in the wintertime, so I started working at the Plex in 2004, but before that, I ran Lincoln's outdoor track, but then in the wintertime, nothing. So my choices were race carpet 12 scale, which I didn't like, or jump in my truck and go to 3 hours away to Chillicothe, Missouri, or Kansas City, and race. And the Chillicothe, Missouri track was a little bit bigger. It's probably the size of what Trackside is. But the Blue View track was definitely probably smaller than TRCR. Like it was small, but it was fun, and they had huge turnouts. We had pits in the basement. It was just a lot of fun, and I'd usually decide like halfway down which track I was going to that Saturday, and a lot of times I'd choose Chili because it was bigger, smoother, and the grip was sort of different. Like they were the same, but they were sort of different. But Blue View, you would usually have a bigger turnout, and so you'd go there if you wanted to race more people. But it was tiny, and you had to get used to, relatively quick laps, and then not much passing space, all that sort of thing. Whereas Chili was a little bit bigger, and then our track dwarfs both of those. Like you could fit Chili and Blue View twice in our track, So yeah, it's totally different from what I sort of grew up on. When I went to Trackside again back in November, kind of reminded me why I like that. Like I almost felt at home. I was like, I remember this size of track. This is a lot like Chillicothe was. So it wasn't that strange. And because I hadn't been to Trackside since 2012, I think. Definitely going back. I think I won't be able to go back until fall, but I think we're going to do that same thing, that Toys for Tots race. As long as the weather's good, I think I'm planning on going to that almost every year now, going for Friday and Saturday, and then making it home Sunday morning. So yeah, get a little bit different of a feel is a good thing for sure. Did I ever wear the wrong pants home from any of those races? Nope. I did for a Pearl Jam concert, which I think is what you're alluding to. I the cop asked if I was wearing somebody else's pants story. Yeah, I think that's where. So he's talking about the creativity that you won't get in a large track. I think that's where sometimes um, the last 4 or 5 years I've tried to do something different for the Pro Tech race here, because the INS it actually says like in the contract, if you're going to hold that race, not to build anything gimmicky is the terminology used, and it specifically says no crossovers. Um, so it has to be sort of a normal-ish style track, you know. You can still do whatever you want, but you just can't have like a Joker lane or a crossover or something like that. I think for the Pro Tech race, the last couple of years, that's why we've had a crossover before, and I kind of learned how to do a crossover without making it super dangerous. Because like tracks that have crossovers, I think the little tracks it's not as bad, even though the laps are super fast. If you do crash right in front of a crossover, somebody's going to get hit. But on the bigger tracks, you know, I think, was it AMS one year that had this monster crossover and it shot him like super high, and the idea was that a person could walk underneath of it while they were jumping over you, and it's still kind of sketch, I think. I think with crossovers at our place, I kind of learned that if you just used your elevation and made it so the cars sort of just drop off of it and not actually get kicked up, that you're less likely to have anybody get hit in the face, you know? Like if you're going to hit somebody, I'd rather get hit here than get hit in the face. A lot more cushion, you know? So as far as creativity goes, I think doing something like a crossover all of a sudden gives you a new perspective on the track, because now you're going a direction that you wouldn't normally go, you know? Like we never, like, was it 2 years ago when we had the hill, the highest part of the track, and then we swooped down and crossed across the track? We never would have that if it wasn't for crossing over that section of the track. That was a really good time. That was a really neat track, and you were able to build like 2 or 3 different tracks from just that one thing. And little tracks like that, like being able to put in, say, a crossover, all of a sudden gives you these extra room that you wouldn't normally have. So your lap times would actually go up a little bit, because you're basically adding, you know, some footage to some length to your track. And it does force you to kind of try to think of something. Okay, what can we do with this space that we wouldn't have to do if we had more space, you know? The only problem with tiny tracks is marshalling. That's the only thing that ever really comes around with the small ones is you have too many marshals out there, all of a sudden you can't see. We kind of run into that with carpet. With when we were doing the carpet off-road, that was the hard part, was trying to come up with a track where you could have a marshal or two in the middle against the back straightaway, but you couldn't have anybody kind of in the middle in front of that, because their bodies would literally block a corner for somebody, because your driver stand's this long. So if you're standing here and you got clear view, well, if you're over here, somebody's going to block somebody. That's always tough part of the small stuff. Bender says, oh, Jason Haley said he remembered Bender getting biffed in the face. I kind of remember that, I think. I kind of remember it. I don't know. We might do a crossover again one day. Not this year, though. But it does add something cool to the track, being able to switch directions, you know? That's what it gives you, the ability to go somewhere we normally wouldn't go. Anyways, all right. I think I'm good for the night. I'm starting to get tired, and at least got the front shocks on here. Learned how to build these voodoo shocks, and this thing's going to be ready for electronics and wheels here pretty soon. So I'm going to go. Thanks for tuning in. I know we didn't have a lot of viewers, like a stack of viewers, but those of you guys that are in the chat, I love it. I love the interaction. So I know I haven't done one of these in a while. Can't say when I'm going to do one of these again, but it's good to know that everything still works. And since we're not podcasting every Monday, I'm going to try to fill one of these in when I can. So yeah, look forward to the next one. As far as the channel goes, I'm working on a low C22S sprint car video that we're racing this weekend. So I'll be able to finish it probably after the track build. I'm going to try to get the live stream going for the track build. If not, look for just me doing like day-to-day videos to show what we're doing. And then, of course, the ProTech race. And I hope to have the live stream up by then. So, yeah, that's all I got. And that's all it's going to be. So, thanks, guys. And, yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you later.